Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I can see some happy faces, meaning the breakfast is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I don't know. Let me just go straight into my presentation, and I want to start with a question. Are we all together?
Yes.
Okay. Let me start with this question, and you can discuss it with the person on your right or your left hand. If I was to give you this choice, $1 million today or a penny that is doubling every day for 30 days, what would you choose? Okay, if you are for $1 million, please raise up your hand. $1 million, you disappear. Okay. So do you mean the rest would choose the penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Okay, just lift up your hand if it's a penny. Now I can see some unsure hands. Anyone for the penny? Faith? I think everybody is on the $1 million. What do you think the penny will be in 30 days? Is it Isaac? Isaac, I saw you are very quick to say $1 million. What do you think the penny will be on the 30th day? You don't have to calculate, eh? It's a penny. These are investment decisions that we make every day. This is what faces us. Choices. Where to invest. Who thinks the penny will be more than $1 million? Not possible, eh? Okay. You want to know the answer? The penny will be $5.4 million on the 30th day. On the 30th day. You can see here, on the 30th day. The penny will be $5.4 million. Welcome to the eighth wonder of the world. It's called compounding interest.
But a penny and a dollar don't relate.
A penny and a dollar don't relate?
Yeah, I have to convert it.
What do you mean you've got to convert it?
A penny is what? Pence a UK currency.
Penny in pence in dollars. Just it's for illustration purposes. I mean, you can even take it. It can be 1 million shillings versus one cent. It's going to be $5.4 million on the 30th day. And one more day, it will be $10 million. And for me, when I think about investing with purpose, when I think about just generally investing, these are the choices that face us every day. Instant gratification today, delayed versus delayed gratification, and what do you get paid for that delayed gratification? I think the biggest challenge is how are you able to run these decisions? Because investment is not just a science; it's also something that is an art. So, just to continue my presentation, another number that really sticks out for me is that the richest 1% in 2017 was said it owned 82% of the global wealth. And this, of course, caused a lot of talk, and a lot of people tried to challenge the numbers. And in fact, these numbers were revised in 2018. Now they say it is 45%. But whatever the number it is, we're saying the richest 1% in the world, they own almost half of the total global wealth. And these are the guys, you see them here. I'm sure these are some familiar faces. And the rest of us, we own the rest, 55%. And they say the richest 1% are just about 42 people in the world. And for me, the key question is, what do they know that we do not know? And as my pastor likes asking, how many heads do they have? They don't have two, they have one head. And maybe a smaller head than mine. But they must know something that many of us do not know. 42 people in the world, they own almost 50% of the entire global wealth. What makes them to stand out? And what makes us to be where we are? And it's something that we've been trying to research on, and we believe we know the answer. Just to get more specific, we all know Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett, 2013, as there was a research that was done by WealthX, and they estimated that Warren Buffett makes more than $1.5 million every hour, even when he's asleep. More than $1.5 million every hour, even when he's asleep. And the other billionaires, most of them from the tech industry, they were also estimated to be making at least $1 million every hour, even when they are asleep. Those are the 42 people that we're talking about. And just coming to the local scene, a familiar face. When I joined Centum 15 years ago, I joined as an accountant. And one of my first tasks was to pay dividend. And I remember one check that stood out for me. And it was a check to Dr. Chris Kirubi, 2004. And the check was for 58 million shillings. And what I found so profound about that check was the fact that he could spend $1 million shilling every week from January to December and still not exhausted. Put it differently, he was earning $1 million shilling every week from January to December. More, at least $1 million shillings. Last year, the Centum share paid a dividend of 1 shilling and 20 cents for every share. And Dr. Chris Kirubi, he owns 200 million shares of Centum. That's a third of the business. So what was his dividend? 240 million. So the 58 million check has now grown to 240 million shillings. Meaning, now he's earning $1 million shilling every day of the week from January to December. It's been growing. And I had an opportunity to interview him sometime late last year. And I asked him, when did he start investing in Centum? And he told me 1970s. And that's when it dawned on me that what we are seeing today are fruits of labor that started more than 40 years ago. What am I saying? Investment is a long-term game. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. All these guys, all these 42 people, you can see very disciplined investment nature. Warren Buffett began investing when he was 11 years, and he says he began too late. And that's where he's where he is. So all these people, they make money even when they are asleep. So what really distinguishes us are these two things. These 42 people, they stand on this side, called passive income. And the majority of us stand on the other side, called active income. Okay? Are we together? So, what is active income? Active income is money that you earn when you show up at work. Whether you're employed or you have a kiosk somewhere, yeah? As long as you have to show up for that money to check into your bank account, you are dependent on active income. And majority of us, we design our entire lifestyle around active income. What do I mean by that? We go to clubs and entertainment joints to hang around people who we consider to be of our pay grade. We take our kids to schools according to the number of digits on our pay slip. And therefore, you see a lifestyle that is designed around the monthly dose you get from your business, which you have to show up, or from employment. And that is what we call active income. Passive income is money that checks into your bank account whether you show up or you don't show up. And that's primarily from dividends, from interest, from rentals, and that's why it is passive. Just a more specific definition. Active income is derived from active practice of profession or business. Passive income is derived from income generating assets or investments. And if I go a little bit further, just to labor this point, because I think it's the distinguishing factor, this is what sets us apart. You can see active versus passive. In active, you're either employed or self-employed. If you have to exchange your time and effort for an income, you don't work, you do not get paid. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Self-employed, if you cannot take a 6-week holiday and your business continues to run, you're self-employed. You're depending on active income. And that is living dangerously, if I may put it more bluntly. Okay? Passive income, these are people where money works for them, whether they show up or they don't show up. And there are two kinds of sources of passive income. Either from a big business, if you are Vodacom and you own 40% of Safaricom, the kind of income streams that come to you on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, you do not have to show up because there are so many other people who are working for you, and therefore money is working for you, and you can afford to take your 6-week holiday. My favorite is actually the one for investor, where you're just simply an investor. Simply an investor. And, 10 years ago is when Safaricom IPO happened. It would have costed you 5 million shillings to buy 1 million shares of Safaricom. And the first year of dividend of Safaricom, they paid 10 cents. Today, the last dividend that was paid by Safaricom was 1 shilling and 10 cents. How much would that be if you had invested 1 million shares in 1 million shares? 1.1 million? 1.1 million. You do not have to show up at work. 1.1 million will just be flowing into your bank account. And that's what the Chris Kirubis have done. That's what the Warren Buffetts have done so well. Okay?